Your customers make decisions in your favor based on what they remember, not on what they forget. This path from memory to decision would be easy if all your customers had perfect memory. But perfect memory is rare. Your customers will not be like Kim Peek, the real-life Rain Man, who supposedly memorized every word of every book he had ever read, around 9,000 pages. Your customers are likely not Jill Price, a woman who can remember every detail of her life since she was 8. They're also not like Ferdinand Marcos, the former president of the Philippines, who supposedly memorized complicated text after one glance. And they're definitely not like Sheldon Cooper. Your customers are not isolated cases or fictional characters. They are regular people. And to understand how to impact them, you must understand how regular people's memories work. For customers to remember your content, they must first encode it. Something must register with their senses. When they sustain attention for a while, they store and maintain their memories and later have a chance to retrieve them. These are the phases that lead to memorable content. One of the most challenging phases to master is the maintenance phase, which is associated with a process called working memory. Working memory can become a bottleneck in how your customers remember your content because people can temporarily hold in their minds only a few items until they complete a cognitive task. Working memory is essentially a form of cognitive workload, and it is critical to understand it because it is a silent partner in all cognitive tasks you are asking customers to do. In fact, I challenge you to find a cognitive task that working memory is not a part of. Anything that requires people to think, understand, solve a problem, plan, and ultimately make decisions involves working memory. In the context of sales presentations, you might think your slides overload working memory, but that's not always the case. In one neuroscience study, I asked the question, what happens to working memory when two speakers, not just one, deliver a presentation? Sellers often split a complex sales presentation with a tech engineer to showcase expertise and avoid monotony. In the study, I divided B2B buyers into 4 groups. Group 1 watched a presentation delivered by one speaker with good presentation skills. Group 2 watched the same presentation given by one speaker with poor presentation skills, meaning he had shifty eyes, used distracting gestures, and spoke in monotone. Group 3 watched the same presentation divided between 2 speakers with good presentation skills, and Group 4 watched the same presentation split between a good presenter and a bad one. The buyers in Group 4, who saw the combination of a good presenter and the bad one, had the highest working memory score, but fatigue was also the highest and long-term memory was the lowest of the 4 groups. So that means the 2 speakers with different speaking abilities taxed buyers' working memory without rendering any benefits. In another neuroscience study, we used the EEG signal to create cognitive maps and reveal how each slide and the presenter impacted cognitive workload. We noted that the cognitive workload was on average higher when processing what the presenter was saying compared to processing the text and images on the slide. The more intense orange spot you see here indicates the heavier load. These studies suggest that you, the speaker, can significantly impact buyers' working memory. You can solve this bottleneck if you refine your presentation skills and master your message so you don't have to split the presentation with anyone else, at least for an introductory overview of your offerings. Also, craft your content to offer cognitive ease by grouping related information together, sharing familiar examples, and highlighting with contrast. This doesn't always mean making important points bolder or bigger, but framing them in a strong story. You cannot always control the content handed to you, but you can control how you present it. In other words, sticky starts with you.